All right, welcome in again, everyone, to the Lucky Shots podcast. This is the Lucky Bets podcast, and we have Dylan Corbett back in with us. Dylan, how are we doing today?
Doing good. Another wild week in the NFL. We had the teaser last week. Didn't really like too many lines. That went down, unfortunately, but we're back at it. A couple games under 500. We got 4 plays this week looking to break through and get profitable.
Yeah, I bet on the Thursday night game last week. That worked out for me. Decided I would take that and try to turn it into an 18 parlay for about $1,300. And the Jets broke my hopes, and the Falcons broke my hopes immediately in the morning. So
those were the games, right? Falcons was just a classic letdown spot against Carolina. Of course, Carolina hadn't won a game without McCaffrey, and then you come in and you beat Atlanta. Tennessee, we were all over. That was the win over the Colts, right? Yeah, the shock of the week was, and this was huge for survivor pools where you kind of pick a team each week, knocked out like 30 entries, I think, in this big pool I was in because everyone was on, obviously, the Bengals. That was one of those weird games, man, where it's just the Jets in the Meadowlands, Bengals off a shocking win over the Ravens coming in, and the Jets kind of did this for the second time, right? They beat the Titans. Now they've beaten the Bengals.
Yeah.
It terrible last night.
Yeah. The fact that they did it with essentially their third string quarterback, because if you look at it, Joe Flacco, technically, if he's healthy, is their second string.
Yeah.
But then last night they went out and ended up being on quarterback number 4. My girlfriend was watching with me. She goes, "What if he gets hurt?" I was
And then the punter.
Who the hell knows?
yeah, no kidding. Pittsburgh was, a lot of dogs won last week, right? Cleveland doesn't look the same. News comes out that OBJ has been released today. So that's certainly interesting. Lions can catch a break. One of the bad beats from the weekend was Rams huge favorites over Houston. And Houston decides to just want to score and play well towards the end. 16.5, the Rams win by 16. Broke some people's hearts.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did not bet over under on that game at all. I did bet on the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good play for me. Like you said, the Titans. So it was pretty close on the parlay. Just
no kidding.
those couple morning games.
We had some.
At least it was in the morning, and they broke my heart, so that I wasn't, heartbroken at the end of the day, at least.
What do you think about your Broncos? They get the win and cover. It's the football team, but then they sell the ship. It's leaking water. Bye-bye franchise icon.
So started out, we should have lost to Washington.
Right.
Zero doubt about it. How the hell do we have 30 seconds to just run off the clock? We decide to throw the ball on one of the plays, incomplete. Melvin Gordon goes out, fumbles the ball. All you got to do, man, is just hold on to the damn football. You get the ball on the 30. I'm glad Washington didn't score, but I don't know how they don't. We should have lost that game. And then we sell away Von Miller. I don't know if you saw my tweet
I missed
about it. I was just venting, very upset. Yeah. And talked about it yesterday with Vic Quick from Dakota Territory.
Oh, sure.
Now the biggest leader of that locker room is gone. Morale of the team has to also be shot. I mean, it's just not a good situation, I don't think. And we didn't get anything in return, and we're still paying them. So
yeah, right. And now you're heading to the Dallas Cowboys, who are the only team in football to have not lost a game against the spread. Was going to go to the Vikings game. I figured Dak was going to be out, so I'm like, I'm not paying money to go see that. My Vikings friends went. But of course, the Zimmer, just classic. That was another one too, where it's like you let the line do its work. Oh, no Dak. Okay, this gets all the way to 4.5, and of course, Dallas ends up winning outright. Huge line this week, Dallas, because apparently Dak's going to play, and your Broncos come to town. You mentioned it. What's morale going to be like?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know if I even want to watch. It's going to be embarrassing.
There you
Uh,
go.
uh,
I've kind of my Falcons let me down, but I expected it. So, oh my goodness, what's happening here? My first pick, I'm going this week. It's the Falcons at the Saints. Your boy, a familiar face, Trevor Siemian, at the helm of the Saints. What I know the Falcons stink, but what is going on here? I think it's the overreaction to beating Tampa, which I said on my podcast, this happens every year. It's a division
mhm.
rivalry. You get these two games. It's usually a split, throughout the NFL. So riding high for the Saints, Trevor Siemian against Matt Ryan. I know that Saints defense plays, but 6.5 points is too much. I like the Falcons in a classic bounce back game after they looked embarrassing.
Well, yeah, and if you look at it, since Tom Brady's joined the Bucks, the Saints are 3-1 against Brady and
Yeah.
the Bucks. It's just, I guess Sean Payton is just, he knows how to coach against the Buccaneers, and I mean they're what 5-2 this year, so
Mm-hmm.
they just find a way to win. Yeah, 6.5 seems a little steep, um,
For Simeon
and
too. I couldn't believe it.
yeah, and Taysom Hill. I don't know when he's going to be back,
Mhm.
but if it
He's
is
out
this
for this
week,
week, but that's
okay.
the second
So
stringer.
after this week, who knows how that's going to look for them? But you know, the Falcons have just been letting me down. Cordero
That's what they
Patterson,
do. Yeah.
Cordero Patterson. He's continuing to just be that consistent guy for me. So he's the only thing I bet on in those
Hmm.
games now.
Yeah, and Ridley stepping away from football certainly hurts Matt Ryan. Who the hell is he going to throw to? Is the fantasy question. Another stinker here. Plug the nose. Houston plus 5.5. How about this? Tyrod Taylor returning to the lineup. Dolphins are, I mean, that's a dumpster fire. They completely mishandled wanting Watson, kind of having NDAs be signed. And then they eventually were like, no, we can't be with Watson. Very messy situation. Flores on the hot seat, Tua on the quarterback hot seat. I think this sets up for Houston going into Miami. The stadium, Hard Rock Stadium is going to be half empty. I think Houston gets it done, at least keeps things close, 5.5 here in just a toilet bowl of a game.
You know, being that it's Houston and being that I've actually seen flashes of gold in the pan of Tua the past
Yeah.
few weeks, I honestly think, it's going to be kind of like, what was the game last week? The Eagles and the Lions. I think it's going
Oh,
to be a
yeah.
little bit of that. That's kind of my hot
Sure.
take for the week is I think, Miami's going to go out there and get it done. Um, Tyrod is going to kind of try to be working back in. He wasn't necessarily great when he was in,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
and
beat the Jags.
Houston's just not good. I know Miami's only got one win, but they have a lot more talent on their side of the ball. Uh, so I honestly think that one's going to be a little bit bigger of a margin
Yeah.
than some people might think.
It's a good point. Yeah. I look forward to not watching this game, but I look forward to seeing how it
Exactly.
ends up. Want to get your thoughts on this. My third official play. We're going under in Dallas, 49.5. I see the 27 points total against the football team. That's a team that you should light up defensively. Broncos lose Von Miller, but I think they still have a solid defense, right? Maybe Justin Simmons steps into that leadership role that is left vacant. My boy out of BC. Dallas, is it going to be Dak? He's saying it's a full go. I still, I'll wait until I see the official injury report. But 49.5, I'm playing under because who knows what Teddy B is going to be this weekend.
Yeah, I don't see much coming out of the Broncos offense. I know Dallas's defense isn't great, but they got Trayvon Diggs back there who's got like 8
Mm-hmm.
interceptions. He's an absolute stud. And we've struggled to move the ball as is. We scored 17 points against the football team whose defense is absolutely atrocious this year. I'm just not a huge fan of anything Broncos this week. Offense or defensively, how much of a pass rush are we going to get? If there's nobody on the outside that they're like, okay, we kind of got to send more attention that way.
Mhm.
No one else is going to be able to get through the line. We still don't have Bradley Chubb because he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, our DBs are pretty good. You know, I love Justin Simmons. I love Pat Surtain. I love Bryce Callahan. But there's just so much firepower on that Dallas offense, especially if Dak plays.
Yeah.
I mean, if Cooper Rush plays, maybe it's a little closer, but
Mhm.
I have a bad feeling we're going to get our asses whooped this week.
Yeah, we'll see if excuse me, if the cover streak continues for the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm seeing 10 right now. Interesting. And then it held on that note too. Dallas held the Vikings right to 16 points, which is kind of surprising at their place.
Right.
Speaking of the Vikings, I don't know what to expect in Baltimore. I'm out with my Vikings friends last night. Hey, you know, what what do you expect in Baltimore? They couldn't even give me an answer. They're just defeated. I love a good Vikings over 49.5. I think Lamar Jackson's going to tear the defense apart. Jackson's his own running back. He's his own play action game. Like it's crazy watching him play. Um, yeah, over 49.5 is the play for me. I think maybe Kirk gets it going again. And hopefully we can see maybe a high scoring affair in Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. You know, I kind of talked about it on the show on Wednesday. Uh, your Vikings always keep it close.
Yeah.
Every game except for one's been a one possession game. And if Baltimore's offense is going out and putting up about 30,
Mm-hmm.
there's no reason for me to think that a Colts offense that, you know, is very Jonathan Taylor heavy, not necessarily all that good, went out against Baltimore and put up, what was it, 27, 30 points.
Should have won that game, right?
I don't see any reason why, you know, Kirk Cousins with Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, I don't see
Mm-hmm.
why they can't go out and, you know, if the Ravens score 30, there's no reason I don't think they couldn't score 27 to maybe even
Bingo.
33 points, you know?
Yep, that's the plan. Lines that were interesting to me that kind of don't have a play on, but I think they're interesting to watch. New England kind of surprised people, went in, beat the Chargers. Chargers starting to fall back down to earth. Panthers coming off to win over the Falcons. Throw that out. That's basically a bye week. But McCaffrey potentially coming back. This line's interesting as Carolina's a home dog plus 3.5.
Yeah, I could see that. There's nothing flashy about how New England's playing right now.
Right.
It's just honestly consistency from Mac Jones, and that's really it. Their defense is
Yeah.
playing all right. Their defense is always honestly a decent talent every year. And Carolina, I don't think CMC is going to be back. I know he was in practice this week. My take would be that he's out at least one more week.
He's just killing my fantasy teams.
Yeah. So I don't like Carolina. They shouldn't have won last week.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it. I think New England. I think New England's got this one, but you know, I'm not betting this week. I took that bad beat last week. I'm gonna take a break.
Yeah. Cleveland's a team I really do not like whatsoever. They drop Odell. This is what's interesting because they're better without Odell on the field. Just Baker and him did not get along. Bengals coming off the embarrassing loss, right? This is a short line, 2.5. Bengals in Cincy, they're favored. I'm staying away because who knows? Baker's so beat up. I mean, you could see that visibly on the field. He looked worse than Roethlisberger, if you can believe that. I don't know. Division battle. This is going to be interesting. Cleveland and Cincy.
So when the Titans lost to the Jets, what was their next week?
Titans lost to the Jets. They came back and they blow out. I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, so they lose to the Jets in the Meadowlands. Then they beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville.
Okay, so they bounced back and had a win. I mean,
yeah. But look what Geno Smith just did to them.
Yeah,
Jacksonville's crazy.
You know, I think it's a bounce back week for the Bengals.
Yeah,
like you said, I'm not a fan of Cleveland much. It's kind of tough because we all know when Odell's not in the lineup, for some reason this offense just clicks.
Yeah.
So it could be an interesting game, but I think it's going to be a bounce back. But it could kind of be a bounce back for both teams, be a little close, and divisional game. Always the possibility of crazy things happening.
Totally. Kansas City -7. They opened as a dog. Of course, I ended up taking, since the teaser was dead, the Giants, which was the play, because the Chiefs, they're just not covering these big spreads, and Vegas is still people are afraid to bet against them. Bring in stage left Jordan Love. What are the chances they go into Kansas City and win this game? Devontae Adams back off COVID list.
I think they still got a good shot. Jordan Love's been sitting for what? This is year 2 now.
Yeah, year 2.
He's had plenty of time to kind of learn, get ready, and I think he's got a good shot. Kansas City's defense, regardless of who's the quarterback, is still garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Jordan Love's going to be a bust. If I wanted to bet an underdog this week, it would be Green Bay.
I like that.
And Kansas City, they've hardly beat the Giants.
I know. Yeah.
So what more can we be like? Okay, we're gonna still hang on and see. No, we gotta treat them as a 4-4 football team and not as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly. Las Vegas loses Henry Ruggs, obviously, who's probably headed to jail as he loses his freedom. Giants, they will host Las Vegas. They are +3 at home. Does the offense for Vegas lose? Like, are they going to miss a pretty big beat, or is it just business as usual?
I highly respect Derek Carr as a professional. He is a wonderful quarterback. He's a great person. You saw his statement yesterday.
Yeah, and having to speak on just some brutal issues, in his franchise.
And, we thought when John Gruden and that whole mess went through, we were like, oh, okay, the Raiders are going to be distracted.
Yeah.
All this media circus. Now this happens. I think Derek Carr, he's a great leader for the team. He's going to keep their heads in the game. So I don't think there's going to be a problem there. And then is Darren Waller in this week, or is he going to be like?
We're hoping, yeah, that's going
to be that game time. Oh, he's not actually in, guys. Right. But they've got guys like Hunter Renfrow who honestly now I think he starts having a breakout season the rest of the year. He's already been getting 6-7 targets, so I think he's going to really step up. Waller's going to step up. Now we get a chance to look more at Brian Edwards.
Yep.
So I think they still have plenty of options, and Derek Carr is a fantastic leader, and their defense is still pretty decent. So,
yeah, that'll be interesting. That's a noon slate game. Last two that kind of piqued my interest: Arizona and San Francisco. Arizona's banged up. Hopkins again, kind of coming in limping, questionable. Edmonds coming in questionable. They lose to the Packers without basically every receiver. San Fran beats the Bears, which isn't really anything. I think Arizona's banged up. San Fran's actually favored at home. I don't really like them that much, but -1.5, another one of these divisional games.
Yeah, I would still go the Cardinals. Look at last week. Let's be honest. Let's not be cute about it. They should have won that game. AJ Green is just a moron.
True.
What the hell what was he doing? Did he not realize what the play was?
Run block on a pass play.
They should have won that game if they didn't have Alzheimer's Green out there. The A in AJ stands for Alzheimer's.
Yes.
They're still fine. And D-Hop, he's always questionable every week. He's going to come in and have 2 touchdowns again just because he's not on my team anymore.
I ended up starting 9 points. I was like, okay, we took it, but he ended up not being a factor after the touchdown, right?
Yeah. So I honestly still think it's going to be Arizona. San Francisco made the Bears actually look like they knew how to play football last week. So if you let the Bears look like they know how to play football with all the garbage that's over there, then I'm not going to trust you for a few weeks after that until you prove me otherwise.
Exactly. We were all over this last week. The Tennessee Titans, we told you to hammer them against the Colts. I think someone questioned, that we knew nothing about football and then deleted this comment on YouTube because the Titans won,
Exactly.
obviously. Now Q in LA. 7.5. I love this Rams team. They get your boy Von Miller. Don't know if he's going to play. I don't know. I
would think so, but who knows?
7.5. Tennessee's a good team. This should be a game. Sunday Night Football. It's going to be a hell of a one.
I think the only reason people are like questioning it is because they don't have Derrick Henry. So what is the main part of your offense? Who was Derrick Henry going to look like now? You bring in Adrian Peterson, which a lot of people are saying is the best quick fix because he can run the same kind of way that Derrick Henry did, but there's no replacing your 250-pound world wrecker. Okay. They're going to have to really shift over to the passing game, which honestly I'm confident in because look at what AJ Brown's done the past 2 weeks. That passing game's starting to get going. And I said at the beginning of the season, I think this is an offense that has a chance to be one of the best offenses this year because of all the weapons they have in the passing game plus Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, they're just going to have to kind of shift the identity of this offense. Will it happen this week? Probably not. I'm a big fan of the Rams right now, regardless of Von Miller being there now. I was happy that Matt Stafford went there. That offense is just looking fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've got an extra pass rushing threat off the edge. So
crazy.
I don't want to count the Titans out. I still think they're going to be fine. And this honestly is going to be a really good game. But it's tough to bet against the Rams when their offense is so good. Their defense honestly is really good. So
right. The line is interesting to me because you just saw the Rams kind of collapse against the 16.5 point. This is 7, but Tennessee, I think, is going to try and make this a game. Prime time, usually close. You never know. But those are games I found interesting. The official plays, hold your nose. I'm on the Falcons plus 6.5, Houston plus 5.5, under in Dallas, and over in Baltimore.
Yeah, those are all great plays. If I wanted to be risky this week, I'd bet against the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But do that at your own
dog
risk.
Of the week right there.
Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and hop into a little bit of DFS. Sure. Get quick lineups set, and then we'll get you out of here. So, quarterback position, I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Yeah, sounds good. Kind of looked at my lineup last night. I'm going to go chalky chalk. Josh Allen here at my quarterback. See if he could just make, Urban Meyer look like a fool. It was kind of like I was making my lineup and I was like, how am I getting some of these guys? Because my 2 running backs are Austin Eckler and hopefully Jordan Love likes to rely on Aaron Jones this week because he's my other guy. 7,200. I feel like, check down Charlie is going to be the name of the game. If Love can't find anyone open against the Chiefs, that's usually pretty easy, but who knows? First official start. Maybe he gets, Arrowhead's no easy place to play, right? Maybe he finds Jones and helps him out a little bit in the receiving department.
Yeah, and having Devontae Adams back is a huge step in the right direction as well. Honestly, that's not a bad play. And where I'm sitting thinking, Green Bay's got a real good chance against the Chiefs. I think he's a solid play and,
couple touchdowns, who knows?
Yeah. It may not be flashy, but I think it'll work out.
Staying in that game for my receiver core, you don't usually see Tyreek Hill this cheap, 7,900. I mean, I guess it's still pretty expensive, but you usually see him up in the 9,000s, I feel like. I think this is going to be a game. I expect a shootout. We'll see. I mean, the Chiefs, I think, are going to want to put up some points. They're going to look Hill's way. Hopefully he doesn't drop a ton. We talked about Hunter Renfrow. I am plugging him in at 4,800. And my last guy is Cole Beasley, who is listed as questionable right now. So kind of seeing if I might have to change that, but that's a guy that'll get you 13 easy.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me. Sorry. Yeah, I like Cole Beasley. I honestly I like all the Bills receivers this week. One of my guys is Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, you got matchups against Jacksonville. You got to smash those plays.
Yeah, right.
Uh, and then Renfro for sure. I mean, like I said, he's already a guy who gets, 7, 8 catches per game, just not a lot of yards, no touchdowns, stuff like that.
Right.
I think his targets boost. I think the possibility of him getting in the end zone now is a lot higher. And, who's going to take that deep ball that Ruggs was there to take? I think, there's a good shot that it could be Renfro there.
And if Waller is out too, or even just banged up, that certainly helps too. Kind of employing this 2 tight end play, because I mean, if you've heard the lineup, that's basically where all my money is right now, through the receivers, running back, and quarterback. So I've got Conklin, who put up like a 550-yard performance against at the tight end position against the Cowboys. Let's see if he kind of does a similar performance in Baltimore. And I'm hoping Jared Cook can find the end zone in Philly for the Chargers. These two guys are combined 6,300. So I'm kind of just plugging in, hoping I can find gold there with the remnants of my lineup.
Yeah. I just had a brain fart.
Conklin and
Conklin.
Cook.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I think Minnesota is going to have a good shot in this game to make it, close. Conklin, is a part of that passing game. And if they have to go out and score 30 or more points to keep up with the Ravens, it'd be silly to think you're not going to get a touchdown out of Conklin.
Right.
I mean, that's yeah.
And then lastly, going cheap too. Chiefs for my defense, because let's see if Love throws some picks. Who knows? I know the Chiefs are probably one of the worst defenses in the league. Cheap option. No one's probably going to pick them. That's what I kind of like doing too, is, say the Chiefs get a pick 6, and then all of a sudden I'm going to be flying up some leaderboards.
Yeah, for sure. My defense was last night. Those Indianapolis Colts, you would have thought, oh yeah, the Colts defense, they're pretty good against the Jets. And then you see their 4-string quarterback come in. You're like, oh yes, I'm going to make all the money on it. And then nothing, not a thing.
That was crazy. I think the Colts almost put up the entire total. I didn't even bet on the game last night, but they almost put the total over themselves. That was the rare NFL shootout from the Jets. Right?
Who would have thought at one point in the game, 75 points you'd be seeing halfway through the fourth quarter, and that it's ridiculous.
Hell, the Jets almost came back for a backdoor cover too, as that was getting close towards the end.
So at my quarterback position, I'm gonna, this one is depending on health, but I'm gonna play Dak this week.
Yeah,
just everything is lining up for Dallas to just beat the shit out of the Broncos.
Yeah.
So not excited about that, but playing Dak, I'd be excited about. I said it since we've started. I'm going to play Cordero Patterson every single week. Gotta just ride that man. And, he's averaging 19.2 points.
It's awesome.
Like, talk about a breakout guy.
Yeah.
It's him, period. And now without Calvin Ridley, you got to expect he's going to go out and do more. He actually put out a quote, my mama worked 3 jobs when I was a kid. So there's no reason I can't play 3 positions. Like,
I was going to say, was that from I saw an interview where he was wearing a sweatshirt that said like, make fullbacks great again or something. Like, it was such a funny shirt. Yeah, he's been awesome for the Falcons in a meh year.
Yeah. And so this running back, it's a plug your nose type of running back.
Oh boy.
But because of the matchup and the way I feel about Miami's offense this week, I think Myles Gaskin's a decent play.
Yeah.
Only 5,800 as well. And we've seen those flashes in the pan from Gaskin. Last season he was actually really good. And this year he's had, I think, only one really good game, one mediocre game. But I feel like Miami's offense is going to be potent this week. So he's got to be some sort of beneficiary there.
Yeah, he's got boom potential for sure against the Texans.
Then moving on to the Minnesota and Baltimore game, going Marquis Brown. It's hard not to bet on him every week. He started out, I think, the wide receiver 49 before draft started, and now he's up in that top 10 for an offense that you didn't think could throw the football. I mean, he's got the chance of a deep ball, deep threat guy. So I like that.
Especially against the Vikings. Bart Scott, I think, former Jets linebacker, said that Hollywood Brown would not be a starter on any NFL team. How's that looking?
Right. You're looking a little shallow there now, but and keeping on the train of deep balls, Jamar Chase.
Oh yeah, your boy.
Got to throw him in. I mean, I was probably one of the biggest critics of Jamar Chase. Now I'm a firm believer. Tried to make a trade a couple weeks ago to somehow get him on my team. Didn't work out. Obviously, I mean, makes sense that it wouldn't work out. But I was offering Tyreek Hill at the time, so I thought maybe I could make it happen. It didn't work.
He didn't really have the yardage last week, but he found the end zone again and saved DFS owners.
Yep. I mean, it's kind of crazy. He's just finding the end zone every single week. Every week has a 40, 50-yard catch. Whether or not it's for a touchdown is to be seen, but every once in a while it is. So I like him there. You went Cole Beasley. Yep. I'm going to go Emmanuel Sanders.
Yep.
I just, again, either way, any of those Bills receivers, you can probably count on a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's just who's going to get the most targets out of that. Emmanuel Sanders, possibly, and he's got a couple 2-touchdown games. So
against Jacksonville, love it.
Gonna stick with your team at tight end. Kyle Pitts, I gotta go for it. I mean, again, Ridley's out.
He's the only guy. Dude,
yeah,
it's him and the freaking equipment manager that's on the roster receiver right now.
Yeah, so I mean, we've seen 2 really good games out of him, and we just got to assume he's honestly the best talent on the offense. Even though I love Cordero Patterson, he's the most talented guy on the offense. So
100%, my God, and he's a rookie. Like, that's so embarrassing that we have to say that. And I feel for Ridley. I hope he's all right. No idea what he's going through, but I mean, just talk about leaving a hole on the team. We traded away Julio thinking this was the guy, and now, my goodness.
I just have to laugh real quick looking at who I would plug into the flex. Henry Ruggs is still on here for 5,300, and it just says out, no game.
Yeah, I was questionable. Yeah, not available.
Oh, gosh. And then at the flex spot, going to take another flyer here. He had 2 touchdowns last week, and there's no Miles Sanders. Don't know what's going to happen in that backfield, but Boston Scott.
How about that?
Just going to go with it. You kind of look away and then look back and see he has 2 touchdowns or something.
No kidding.
So that's my lineup.
Love it.
Gonna have to see if it hits, but I think there's a lot of potential there.
Definitely. No, I agree. Let's have some profitable DFS weekends.
Yeah, and have just overall profitable weekends.
Yes.
Want to thank Dylan for being in, and you can catch me on his show today.
Yeah, of course. We're going to be dropping. I want to talk a little UFC 268 with you, and then a lot of fantasy football notes to get to. So that's coming up. It'll drop today here on a Friday.
Yeah, so hop on over to his because I'm excited about this UFC card. Got some bangers on the card. But we want to thank Dylan. This has been the Lucky Bets podcast. We'll see you guys later.